Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Today's advice, inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the surah, in Surah Witr Salah, which is a well-known surah, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala what makes us think and contemplate or deeply think about Laylatul Qadr. And I'm taking this opportunity as an encouragement for myself and you, my brothers and sisters, that truly we're a week away from the start of the last 10 nights of Ramadan. And we don't want to wait when the last 10 nights starts to then wake up to finding or putting methods in place or strategies in place to find Laylatul Qadr. I want us to start thinking about it now, inshallah. For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the second verse, وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا لَيْلَةُ الْقَدْرِ. It's such a profound verse of the Quran. It's a rhetorical question, which means it's a question that you don't have to answer, but rather is posed in a question form to spark thinking in your mind, contemplation. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا لَيْلَةُ الْقَدْرِ, what will it take for you to fully comprehend what Laylatul Qadr is? And I really want us to think about this, because we hear about Laylatul Qadr so often. We know about it, we understand it, we are motivated for it. But Allah Ta'ala says, what will it actually take for you to comprehend it to such a degree that for the last 10 days of Ramadan, Laylatul Qadr is the most important thing to you. It is the only thing that is priority on your list. And nothing else is more important. Not our jobs, not our families, not our wealth, nothing is more important than acquiring Laylatul Qadr. So Allah Ta'ala says, وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا لَيْلَةُ الْقَدْرِ. What will it take? Knowing it in my head is not sufficient to motivate me to do whatever it takes to acquire the night of power. So Allah Ta'ala says, what will it take? And then Allah Ta'ala helps us to comprehend it. Allah Ta'ala then says, Laylatul Qadri khayrun min alfi shahr. It is greater than 1,000 months, 83 years recurring equivalent. Greater than worshipping Allah continuously in an accepted manner for 83 years. That's a lifetime and more than a lifetime for most people. Yet one night of ibadah will equate in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as though you've worshipped Allah for your whole life in a continued manner, in an accepted manner. Allah Ta'ala doesn't stop there. Allah then says, then تَنَزَّلُ الْمَلَائِكَةِ. Group by group, the angels will come down. Allah fills the land with angels. And they come by the order of Allah, min kulli amr, with every command and decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Salamun hiya hatta matla'i al-fajr. And it's peace till the morning, till the dawn. So again, go back to the second verse. وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا لَيْلَةُ الْقَدْرِ. This is the verse I really want us to think about. Because we hear this every year. We've heard this advice 100 times. My question is, and each one for themselves think, have I heeded this verse of the Quran? Have I thought about it and said, right, that's it, my family, we are going to do it different this year. We are going to put everything aside that's important in our lives and make Laylatul Qadr the priority for the last 10 nights of Ramadan. If that means we change what we eat and it's less for mom to be in the kitchen, we need to do that. If that means we are going to pack bags and sleeping bags and move into the masjid for the last 10 days, and that's what it takes. If it means I have to take off from my job so I can be free to worship Allah in the night, and that's what it takes. Whatever it is, how willing are we to put everything aside, switch our phones off so we're not attracted to social media. You know, whatever else happens in our lives, are we willing to put all of that aside to acquire Laylatul Qadr? This is the essence of that second verse. What will it take you to comprehend Laylatul Qadr to such a degree that you're willing to put your world aside? The Prophet ﷺ separated himself from his family. In the last year of his life, he did it for 20 days. Most of the years it's 10 nights of itikaf. Separation completely. That in itself is such a big sacrifice. to leave your bed, the comfort of your home, the convenience of your family, to come sleep in a masjid and spend your time 24/7 for the full 10 days. That's a massive sacrifice. But that means those who do that have comprehended per the ayah what Laylatul Qadr is. It is such a valuable thing. We are silly to allow it to pass by without trying to achieve it. We have not comprehended the value of Laylatul Qadr if it does not mean so much to me that I will put my life on hold to achieve it. And this is what I really want us to think about, my brothers and sisters. And as I did my very first lecture of Ramadan, or was it the Jumu'ah, I was asking the community that the way we can achieve from Ramadan is to do it as a collective, as a family. Every household member in that household talk about it and say, okay, what are we doing for the last 10 nights of Ramadan so we can get Laylatul Qadr? What can we do different? How can we help each other so that we can achieve 83 years of ibadah accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? May Allah Ta'ala motivate me first and truly the worst of the lot, then all of us to get maximum out of the last 10 nights of Ramadan, Ameen, and in the process achieve Laylatul Qadr. Very quickly, if you don't mind, 2 more minutes inshallah, I want to give us now some practical ways that we can achieve Laylatul Qadr. We don't know which night it is. So we have to worship Allah every night of the last 10 nights of Ramadan. The Prophet said the odd nights, so you could limit it to the odd nights if you wanted to. The way to do it is, number one, ensure that we are making Isha Salah in Jama'ah. But the Prophet ﷺ says, if you make Isha Salah in Jama'ah, it's as though you have worshipped Allah for half the night. Then make sure the next morning Fajr, you're making your Fajr Salah in Jama'ah. The Prophet said, if you worship Allah, if you make Fajr in Jama'ah, it's as though you have worshipped Allah the whole night. Because you made Isha in Jama'ah, you got half the night. You got Fajr in Jama'ah, you got the other half. So as though we've worshipped Allah the whole night. That's already a great way to start to acquire Laylatul Qadr. And then add a few bonuses to it, a bit more Quran reading, a bit more Salah, a bit more Dua. Your sleep also is an ibadah. So we can be worshipping Allah. So it does not mean you need to stay awake and worship Allah from sunset to sunrise. That is beyond our capacity. We're not used to doing that. But there are practical ways that we can achieve Laylatul Qadr. So this is my advice, inshallah, my brothers and sisters. The one way is that we make sure we perform our Salah in Jama'ah, Isha, come to the masjid, bring your whole family, stay for whatever number of Taraweeh you like, go home, have your suhoor at home, and then, come for Fajr to the masjid. Bring your whole family for Salah. At least as a family, we've worshipped Allah per the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ for the whole night. And in that way, inshallah, thumma inshallah, imagine your whole family manages to find and get the reward of Laylatul Qadr. How much barakah, blessing isn't there for your family, in your home, in your wealth, in your prosperity of the dunya, and in the benefit in the akhirah. May Allah Ta'ala motivate me and then you, Ameen. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم والحمد لله